Hi all, welcome back to my channel. The following is a statement from the Bighorn County, Wyoming Sheriff's Office. On February 10th, 2025, at approximately 1:30 p.m., the Bighorn County Sheriff's Office Public Safety Communications Center received a 911 call from a female subject reporting gunshots that occurred inside her home, and further reported her daughters had been shot. When the dispatcher asked the status of the gunshot victims, the female stated that she believed them to be deceased. The female caller further reported to the dispatcher the locations of the victims. Two children would be located upstairs in their cribs, and two children would be located downstairs in their shared bedroom. The caller further stated she could be found in her upstairs bedroom, and that she was going to do the same to herself. The dispatcher pleaded with the female caller over the phone for the female caller to remain on the line until responding units arrived. The female caller stated multiple times that she could not do that and that it was too late. Multiple attempts to keep her on the line failed, and the call was disconnected. While on the 911 call, dispatchers with the Bighorn County Sheriff's Office immediately dispatched multiple law enforcement units, including mutual aid resources from the Lovell Police Department and Wyoming Highway Patrol, to an address on the 200 block of East Shoshone Street in Byron, Wyoming. Law enforcement arrived within minutes and immediately made entry into the home. Working in conjunction with the Lovell Police Department Communications Center, ambulances from North Bighorn Hospital District in Lovell, Wyoming, and Powell Valley Healthcare in Powell, Wyoming, were immediately dispatched and staged in the area. After law enforcement arrived on scene and rapidly made entry into the home, officers tactically cleared the entire residence. While clearing the residence, officers observed two female children, aged 2 and 9 years old, deceased with gunshot wounds to the head, and two female children, aged 2 and 7 years old, still alive with gunshot wounds to the head. A single adult female, aged 32 years old, suspected to be the caller and later confirmed as the 911 caller and mother of the four female children, was found to have signs of life with a single gunshot wound to the head and located in the upstairs bedroom of the residence. Immediate life-saving first aid was administered by responding officers prior to the staged ambulances arriving at the residence. Ambulance personnel immediately provided advanced life support to the 32-year-old female and the 7-year-old female, who were still alive, as observed by law enforcement. The 2-year-old female, who was initially observed with signs of life, had unfortunately succumbed a very short time later due to the extent of her injuries. Ambulance personnel rapidly transported the 7-year-old female to North Bighorn Hospital, where she was immediately provided advanced life support, and soon after airlifted by Cody Regional Health First Flight of Wyoming Air Medical Helicopter to an advanced level of care. Ambulance personnel rapidly transported the 32-year-old female to North Bighorn Hospital, where she was immediately provided advanced life support and rapidly transported to an advanced level of care. The status of the surviving patients is unknown at the time of this release. Bighorn County Sheriff's Office remained on scene until the early morning hours of February 11th of 2025, documenting and processing evidence. The Wyoming Division of Criminal Investigators was requested to assist the Bighorn County Sheriff's Office with the processing of the scene with their Advanced Crime Scene Investigations Unit out of Cheyenne, Wyoming, along with multiple local special agents assigned to the Northwest Enforcement Team out of Cody, Wyoming. This incident was fully contained to the residents in the 200 block of East Shoshone Avenue in Byron, Wyoming, and no threat existed to the general public. This incident evolved rapidly. We want to ensure that the facts of this incident are accurate. This release shall serve as the most up-to-date information regarding this incident that is available to us. Please note that this is an open and ongoing investigation, and not all details are available to be released. It's easy for all of us to take for granted the job our first responders perform daily and the tragedies they deal with on a regular basis. We especially want to thank all of our local first responders and healthcare providers who were involved in this incident. The brave men and women of our local emergency service teams ran into a rapidly intense, evolving situation selflessly to serve their community and preserve life. The nightmare that this incident witnessed to these brave men and women should be something that no one should have to endure. Wherever you are in this great state or country, please take a moment to thank and support all first responders. Our hearts and prayers go out to all those who are affected and grieving by this extremely horrible and tragic incident. Sincerely, Bighorn County Sheriff Ken Blackburn. According to news reports, 32-year-old Tranielle Harshman, the mother who shot her girls that day, lost her life the next day.
A shooting Monday afternoon here in Byron, Wyoming left an entire community of 600 grieving. It's an event that their mayor says is one of the most tragic things to ever come out of this small community.
Hope and pray that the family can endure and hopefully brighter days ahead.
It was here on the 200th block of Shoshone Avenue where the unimaginable took place. It was approximately 1:30 in the afternoon Monday when 32-year-old Tranielle Harshman called 911 reporting that her 4 children had been shot and were likely dead. On that 911 call, Harshman said 2 of her kids, both 2 years old, were upstairs in their cribs, and the other 2 children were downstairs in their bedroom. Then Harshman said she would shoot herself.
When you're in a small community like this, you know everyone. You rub shoulders with everyone, and it's just devastating.
First responders arrived and found 2 of the kids, a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old, still alive, but the 2-year-old passed away a short time later. The 7-year-old is now in a Salt Lake City hospital, sedated and receiving care. MTN has not been able to confirm if Tranielle survived the incident. The tragedy has left the town of Byron grieving. Mayor Alan Clark says his heart goes out to the family and first responders involved.
I don't want to dwell on what's happened. We want to dwell on what's next.
One of Tranielle's former classmates, Sage Myers, says the event was out of character.
Tranielle was a grade ahead of me, and we partied a lot together, and she was just a great person, so nice to everybody. Man, I can't explain how there was no cracks, there was no dings, there's no chips to be seen.
Out of character is another trait described by one of Tranielle's friends, Brianna Baker, who left MTN a statement saying, quote, "Everything can change in an instant. Never allow yourself to think it couldn't be me. She was sweet, loving, and funny. Use this as an opportunity to show compassion and togetherness." It's a tragic loss with many questions still unanswered. In Byron, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
2 fathers living a reality most of us can't even begin to fathom. Monday afternoon, a Byron, Wyoming woman shot her 4 young daughters in the head before turning the gun on herself. The 4 girls had 2 fathers between them. Our Kagan Harsham speaks with both men about the tragedy that has forever upended their lives and the message they want everyone to know as the community tries to understand why it happened.
I'm a mess. They were amazing. They were lights to the world.
Cliff Harshman's world will never be the same. In a matter of hours, he lost his wife, his 2-year-old daughters, Brooke and Jordan, and their half-sibling, Braylee, who he raised as his own.
This was something beyond what I can even comprehend.
Harshman is trying to find answers to questions he'll likely never have answers to, specifically the why. Why his wife of 5 years would try to murder the 4 little girls he says she adored.
She was an incredible mom. She loved those kids
more than anything in the world.
I don't even know how to explain this to you. I'm so angry for the decision that was made.
Harshman says his wife Trinielle was battling depression and PTSD and was receiving therapy.
People don't understand how mental illness isn't just a willpower thing. It's chemical imbalances in your brain.
While Cliff knows many will never understand his conflicting emotions, there is one man who does.
There's no textbook, there's no playbook, there are very few people that have gone through this.
Quinn Blackmer is the father of the 9- and 7-year-old girls who were shot. His eldest, Braylee, was killed.
I am indescribably angry. I know I can't show that.
7-year-old Olivia is in a Salt Lake City hospital still fighting for her life.
I'm furious. I'm trying my hardest to bury that for a while and focus on the now, because that anger is not going to bring my child back.
Olivia, currently sedated, is about to be placed into a deep coma to alleviate swelling in her brain. She's been responsive to some touch.
It makes all of us here very, very optimistic that things are trending forward.
But Quinn knows there's a long road ahead. He hasn't left her side, trying to care for her, while also still mourning the loss of Braylee.
They're peas in a pod. I mean, you describe one, for the most part, you describe the other. They're the kids that you want.
In Byron, Kagan Harsha, MTN News.
Deputy Carrie Angel was one of the first to enter the Harshman home shortly after the 911 call Monday. What she describes is something no one could have imagined in the small town.
17 years. 17 years at the sheriff's office and working crime scenes, and you don't ever expect anything like this.
A small town shattered in an instant.
We're worried for the living and we're mourning for the dead at the same time.
Sheriff's Deputy Angel was a few blocks away from the Harshman home when she got the call, never anticipating the scene she would walk into.
We entered into the home. Clearing the home, I went back to the one little girl who was actually still alive and administered first aid to her. Held her, stood there with her till EMS arrived and took her and continued first aid.
5 total people with gunshot wounds. 4 of them, young girls, all under 10 years old.
This could have been any town USA. It happened to be Byron's turn. Unfortunately, this could have been any family.
32-year-old Trinielle Harshman shot her 4 daughters before turning the gun to herself.
I would encourage people to be very careful before they label this situation, as horrible as it is and as tragic as it is.
And as the community comes to grips with the loss and many questions still remain, Bighorn County Sheriff Kenneth Blackburn urges compassion.
We don't know the states of mind and what all goes into this. I think it's important we look at mental health and a lot of the other circumstances. I think it's more important at this time to unite as communities throughout Montana and Wyoming.
The first responders on scene also working through what they witnessed.
We've all been there for each other. Talked about it, cried together.
We do have some of the top critical incident debriefing teams in the state of Wyoming. We are moving forward to make sure that we take care of them in the best fashion possible and give them our utmost support for the sacrifices they've made, which don't always include physical injuries. A lot of times they're injuries of the heart.
In Wyoming, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Welcome back. Tonight, a little girl is fighting for her life, the only survivor of a murder-suicide carried out by her biological mother in Wyoming.
The girl also has ties to Utah. News specialist Garna Mejia is live from Primary Children's Hospital, where this girl is in critical condition. Garna?
This little girl came from a blended family. Her mother and stepfather living up in Wyoming, her father and stepmother down here in Utah. Tonight, everyone coming together to rally around her in the midst of this tragedy. By all accounts, these two sisters, Braylee and Olivia Blackmer, were the closest of friends.
They were just giggly and cute, and like I said, they always held hands.
9-year-old Braylee and 7-year-old Olivia split their time between Utah with their father and stepmother, Quinn and Caitlin Blackmer, and their new baby half-brother, and living in Byron, Wyoming with their mother, stepfather, and 2 toddler-aged half-sisters. On Monday, deputies say the girl's 32-year-old mother shot all 4 of her daughters before shooting herself. Olivia, the only survivor, was flown to Primary Children's Hospital, where she is fighting for her life.
They've got her heavily sedated. Essentially, the bullet went through from one side of her head to the other.
The next few days are critical for Olivia as doctors monitor the swelling in her brain, but stepmom Caitlin says they're seeing a glimpse of the spunky little girl's fighting spirit as family and friends rally around them.
They are trying to put their best foot forward in a terrible situation. And they are just devastated and just are asking for prayers and love for this little girl.
The grief at times unbearable, but the family is leaning into their faith and this picture of big sister Braylee with angel wings standing next to Olivia.
That Braylee is her little angel up in heaven looking over Olivia, and that she's watching over her while she's fighting for her life.
The Blackmers also expressed their gratitude for the outpouring of community support and first responders who've been supporting them throughout this process. Tonight, there are also 2 GoFundMes for both families. The links are on our website. I'm Garna Mejia, KSL 5 News.
As the small community continues to come to grips with the multiple losses, the school that both Braylee and Olivia attended is offering much-needed support for both students and staff. A blanket of sadness surrounds Rocky Mountain Elementary School.
Those 2 girls, they brought the greatest smile to our building.
7-year-old Olivia and 9-year-old Braylee weren't at the Cowley School long, but their absence is felt.
So this is their first year with us, but you could feel the love that they had for all their friends. But these 2 kids made our school better, absolutely better.
Principal Eric Honeyman felt especially close to the 2.
They were 2 beautiful redheaded girls, so we already had a connection. You know, we were the redheaded trio.
On Monday, just 8 miles down the road, the 2 girls were shot by their mother. Braylee was killed. Olivia is in critical condition in a Salt Lake City hospital.
To be honest, just trying to stay very strong for the staff and the students. I truly wish I can take the pain away from everyone that's dealing with this, but it's going to take some time.
The school is now offering whatever support necessary for both students and staff.
There might be a time where we feel sad. There might be a time that some people may feel upset, angry, maybe some guilt.
Lindsay Sponsel is usually the only school counselor, but the school has brought in 5 others, along with an emotional support dog, for this unbelievable circumstance.
I've been doing this for 17 years. Nothing can ever prepare you for something like this.
Sponsel and Honeyman went around to each classroom, sharing a message.
We wanted to assure our students that they are safe at our school and that they are loved and cared for.
As they continue living through tragedy.
We wanted to remember Braylee and keep our prayers for Olivia.
In Cowley, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Many are sending love and support for a 7-year-old shooting survivor who continues to fight for her life in the hospital. She was one of 4 children shot by their mother Monday in Byron, Wyoming. The other 3 died there on the scene. An event organized online called Wyoming for Olivia had many people praying for that young girl tonight.
Being a small state, when things tragically happen, it's hard to not know somebody that knows somebody.
A tragedy that has not only hit the small Wyoming town of Byron hard, but has been felt all around the Cowboy State, even hundreds of miles away.
I was just sitting around and thinking, like, I need to do something, and I think God put it on my heart to do something,
So she called 2 of her Wyoming friends with an idea to get as many people all across the state to pause for 1 hour from 5:30 to 6:30 Friday night, light a candle,
say a prayer.
If I know anything about our small little state, it's that when we need to come together and support one another, we'll do it.
We want to pray for Olivia and, all the little ones affected by the tragedy and just bring her healing, pray for the fathers. I cannot imagine what Cliff and Quinn are going through.
It's impossible to fathom that. 4 young children shot, 3 dead, the hands of their own mother, who we're told had battled depression.
It's touched a lot of different lives. It's touched people who have had suicides happen to them, who have had postpartum depression, who have lost children.
Only 7-year-old Olivia survived and is hanging on in a Salt Lake hospital after brain surgery.
I just want her to know that at one point in time, the whole state was standing up and fighting for her and praying for her. And same with everyone involved.
7-year-old Olivia fought for her life for 6 days before her little body gave out. Her father, Quinn Blackmer, posted the sad announcement of her passing on Facebook on February 16th. He wrote, "I know this isn't the update people were hoping for, and we are absolutely gutted to make it. But we needed time to process what had happened before we let the world know of the tragic passing of Olivia yesterday, February 15th afternoon at 3:44 p.m. The amount of devastation we feel and are going through is so much. Please give all families involved our time and space during this extremely difficult time in our life. Funeral arrangements and updates to what we think the world needs to know will be on my Facebook, but will also be on the GoFundMe. Speaking of that, from the bottom of our hearts, we want to thank every single person that has donated and prayed and fasted for us and our family and our beautiful Olivia. Your kindness and generosity has been so much, and we just ask that you continue to pray and keep us all in your thoughts. The peace I find is knowing that my babies don't have to be apart from each other, and they can also be with their other sisters. My heart breaks for those precious children and their fathers, families, and loved ones who are devastated by their loss. May God give them the strength to make it through. And may babies Brooke and Jordan and their big sisters Braylee and Olivia rest in peace. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this horrific story. I appreciate it. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you on my next video.